Welcome back to Power Hour with Mina and Lenny and Bomani Jones. Bo, you and I have been friends for over 10 years at this point, and
Yes.
this is the first time you've ever been on my podcast.
No, it's not. It's not the first time. I was on your podcast once. We recorded it in New York. We sat in the room because I watched you do the Lenny voice and asking me a question, which I have to say is one of the great joys of my career. Unfortunately, clearly, this was a far more memorable experience for me than it was for the host of the
I
show.
don't remember that at all. I've kind of blacked out all the original podcasts where I did the Lenny voice because I stopped doing it after when I shamefully had to do it in front of Matt Hasselbeck, and then I said never again.
No,
Hey,
no, that was early. I understand it though. It's very interesting because your show is so football that honestly, I appreciate you even finding a way to sneak me in here.
stop it. You do love football, you love all sports, but you have really good football takes, and I'm actually really excited for you in particular to do this because I think you might go in a different direction from I had Ryan Clark, Chris Long. I'm actually gonna have Nick Wright on, your friend,
Oh,
after
that's gonna be
this.
fun.
Yeah,
Those passionate opinions are all the way.
maybe I shouldn't even give him the Chiefs as an option at one just to see how he reacts. So just to remind folks, we are power ranking the entire NFL. This moves very quickly. I present two teams for each slot. Bomani picks one, explains why. I have been starting with the same two teams, but I'm going to mix it up this time. And I'm going to go with the two teams that were in the Super Bowl. Very boring, but the Eagles and the Chiefs. Bomani, to kick things off, who do you think is the best team in the NFL?
I am going with the Eagles on this one. And look, I don't I'm struggling to figure out what to do with Mahomes in this, right? Because how good a quarterback is not really like this isn't basketball where it's kind of like a straight line, ascent, you reach a peak, and then you kind of come down. These things kind of go up and down here and there. Like if you like, when was Peyton Manning the best quarterback in the NFL? It might not be as long as you think. It might be longer than you think. Tom Brady, so forth and so on. Mahomes is the best quarterback I had ever seen who hasn't necessarily looked like the best quarterback in the NFL for like a year and change 2 years. And I still don't want anybody over him. But what that Super Bowl taught me is the same thing I should have learned in the 2020 Super Bowl. You can't just pick a team strictly because they have Patrick Mahomes and I don't want to pick against them. In both of those cases, they got their doors blown off. The Eagles just have dudes on top of dudes on top of dudes. Now, they're not quite as dude filled. For example, I think Mekhi Becton not playing there anymore makes a really big deal because the idea that they just had a 500-pound freight train playing guard as they just mauled people over and over again. Like, I think that's a really big deal, not having it. I think it matters. But I still don't think of these two teams, if I got to pick the one that's got the most talent, that's still got to be the Eagles, right?
The Eagles are the best team. Like well, there's another team, and I'm going to introduce them now that I would argue is the closest to the Eagles. I had them in the past two in the top, but I wanted to introduce the Chiefs because of the Mahomes factor. It is the
Yes.
perfect quarterback versus team importance debate. Mahomes has like become the kind of the case study for that. The other team's the Ravens. I'll just say it right now. So we got the Eagles at one. I think yeah. So I've been doing Ravens versus Eagles, but now you get to choose between the Ravens and the Chiefs. Who are you gonna take here
Ooh,
for the second best
ooh.
team in the NFL?
This is interesting because I was hoping that you were going to throw the Ravens up there against the Eagles because, and I think it actually gets us here, Ravens Chiefs, where this gets to be fun. I was looking for some reason to talk about how I still don't think Nick Sirianni is very good at this coaching thing. Um, he's not bad at it. I still think he's
Does it
very
matter?
good at it, right? Right, and does it matter? How good do we think John Harbaugh is
Ooh.
at this coaching thing at this point? Like he is primarily living off of
Yeah.
glory from the years like 2008 through 2012. Like that's been a long time since they won that Super Bowl. Somehow Joe Flacco still plays in the NFL, but it has been a long time since that happened.
You bring up a really good factor in this particular debate, which is, the Ravens have a better team than the Chiefs, I believe. But the Chiefs have a better coach.
Yes.
And that does matter, and that doesn't get brought up that often. So, you're looking at the quarterback. The quarterbacks, I actually think you can debate at this point, but how much does coaching matter? Who are you gonna take here?
Yeah, I am leaning Ravens at this
Yeah.
point. Like I think the overall talent level that they've built up is strong enough for us to have this discussion. The Chiefs are probably not going to have Rasheed Rice for a little while, right? I mean, I imagine that they're
Massively
going.
unclear when that's gonna
Yeah.
happen.
Well, now that the case has been resolved, I have a feeling that they'll be parking his for 4 to 6 very, very soon. And maybe that works for the Chiefs, right? Because you get him back later. But the argument is their defense is super strong, right? Like the defense is now probably the best thing that they have going. And so, do we think that they can do much like they did the last time they won the Super Bowl and just Patrick Mahomes manage whatever they hand him? Um, at some point, Travis Kelsey, it has started last year, but I don't expect him to be good this year. Like, we got to
Mm.
stop acting like people can play forever. I don't think he's going to be good. And if he's not, if everything we said about how important he is just because his ability to get open, then no, I got to go Ravens. Don't tell Nick I said
Chiefs.
any of this.
No, I the Chiefs are falling. The Chiefs have not finished in the top 2 in the last 2, so you're in good company. I suspect Nick might break that trend. Uh, Now we're gonna put the Chiefs against a team that I think I believe personally there's a pretty clear top 4, and I'm gonna introduce the other team, which is the Buffalo Bills, the team that the Chiefs edged out in the AFC Championship. Bills, Chiefs. Who do you think is a better team?
I generally believe that the Bills are the better team, but I'm not sure how much that matters in this discussion, really, right? Like, I mean, I guess it is your discussion. I'll throw two things out there, right? One of them is that, like, very clearly, Patrick Mahomes is that guy. Like, Patrick Mahomes with Josh Allen feels more like, as a comp to me now, it feels like Tom Brady and Ben Roethlisberger, or the Steelers
Mhm.
and the Patriots, where the Patriots would just get them over and over and over again. I go back to, let us not forget, Tyler Dunn, whose newsletter is like kind of gold standard. I don't even call it a newsletter. That
It's
feels
really good.
unfair. Like, it's a
Yeah.
real live publication
Substack, yeah.
that he's got there, right? That Sean McDermott, the Buffalo Bills series he had about a year and a half ago with the Sean McDermott stuff, none of that stuff really changed, right? I feel like that team's window really might have shut. They had their chance and it might not have gotten over, at least with this run and this incarnation that they have. I still trust Mahomes more than I trust Josh Allen, even though Josh Allen's 7-year rubbing and Bowen Mina's face tour just continues and it just keeps doing
We
bigger
took
and
yeah,
better
no, no,
numbers.
no. We took our L on that
We
like
did.
4
We
years
did.
ago,
We
and
did.
it's been smooth sailing ever since.
We did. You're right about that. It's so much better once we didn't have
So much
anything
better,
left to
so
hold
much
on to.
better.
Like, okay,
Truly,
cool.
taking the L in sports media is so underrated.
It
It's
is.
so freeing to watch him and just be able to enjoy him these last 4
Yeah.
years.
Even though I will make the point, we were right when we were right. Y'all were when we were right, y'all were wrong. I can't help it. I can't help it.
Yeah, okay. Okay. So we're going
Yeah.
Chiefs here, right?
Yeah, I'm going Chiefs.
Okay. Okay. So the number 2 team in the NFC, I still think is the Detroit Lions, but I do think you're Detroit Lions, which you can, but I think it's quite close. There's a cluster. I think the Eagles are pretty. The AFC, like those 3 teams, I think are very close together.
Yes.
The NFC is not that way. I am still going to produce the Lions here, though. So I'm going to put your. So for those who don't know, Bomani is a bandwagon fan of the Detroit Lions.
That's not true. I was there the year they didn't make the playoffs.
What do you mean you were there? You're not from
I was
Detroit.
I was on the I had jumped on board. I was already down with
Wait.
the
Oh, in like
Honolulu Blue.
20, you mean like 3 years ago?
Yeah, yeah, that's what I'm talking
Okay, so
about.
he's a longtime fan as of 3 years ago or 4
That's
years ago,
right.
whatever that
That's right.
was. Okay, 3 years ago. Detroit Lions versus the Buffalo Bills. Pick with your head, not your heart.
Okay. I just want to point out that everything we saw with the Lions last year, and it ended terribly, of course. This was after they were down all of their players, right? So we are presuming that they will be healthier, though it could be a Kyle Shanahan sort of situation where something about your style of play results in your players dropping like flies, right? Maybe that's it with the kind of physical brand that they play, but they didn't have Aiden Hudson at the end of last year. They're going to wind up having him back. I know that we are generally high on Ben Johnson, his old big brain. I have very good things to say about him, but when their season is on the line and he put the ball in the hands of the person with the worst judgment in the building and asked him to throw a pass, and that person is not a quarterback, maybe we might be a little better off with a little simple-minded thinking out here rather than, getting all cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Aaron Glenn, who I think can be a very good head coach, was not an infallible defensive coordinator. Like, I don't think it's impossible for you to get somebody that can replace him. So I am going with last year, who were the best team in the NFL until they started losing all their guys. I am going with America's team, the Detroit Lions.
We just did the NFC North pod, and my case for the Lions continuing to win the division and whatnot. Even if the offense takes a little bit of a step back, I think the defense not being a mash unit can mitigate that. I'm really high on the Lions defense, so I don't hate this pick. I would have taken the Bills, but I don't hate it. This is where it gets tough for me actually, because I think after I think it's kind of like quarterbacks actually, where there's like a big four right now, and then after that it gets kind of hazy. I feel the same way about the NFL. It's funny because this has been kind of the big four, but five is tough, man. So the Bills are still here, and I put them up against. I've tried some different teams in this spot. I'm gonna throw up a team that I have not to this point ranked this high. I'm gonna put the Houston Texans here.
Ooh.
Houston Texans. CJ Stroud and the Houston Texans versus the Buffalo Bills. Who you got?
Okay. I am still going with the Buffalo Bills here. Like
Yes.
I'm still there. But I do believe that the Texans have the chance to make a big jump by making a change that doesn't look like a change. But I know you people who are more football nerd inclined will agree with this. Our man Bobby Slowick, I ain't really never seen it go for sugar to quite as fast as it did from him from one year to the next. I think they're making a big jump just by getting somebody else in there with Stroud.
No, I think it was a much. I was like pleasantly. I don't think it was. It's a real point in D'Amico Ryan's favor because how many times we've seen defensive coaches be like, I don't know, it's not my side of the ball. I'm going to keep the guy. He made that move judiciously, and I do think it was the right move. To your point. Okay, so the Texans. So you don't think that? So you don't think it's too crazy to have the Texans this high then? Like,
I think that comes down to how good you think CJ is. And I think that if you get a little too locked into stat stuff, like I did not watch CJ Stroud last year and think I saw a guy that was regressing in his second year. I saw a guy that wasn't necessarily playing as well, but it didn't seem like, oh man, they got to the bottom of this, right? No, I think he's probably said to do. I mean, we were talking about him as the way we talk about Jaden Daniels is the way that we talked about CJ Stroud just the year before. And if you made me take one or if you asked me to take one of them now, I'm still taking Stroud.
well, you just made this choice very easy for me. I'm giving you the Texans versus Jane Daniels Commanders now for the sixth spot after Buffalo. Who are you going to take?
I am still taking the Texans
Okay.
and the bold. I don't even know if it's the hot take. Last year, what you did not have, which was been an annual NFL occurrence that you and I have talked about, was the Cliff Kingsbury fade, where everybody figures out what he's doing through the course of the year. It didn't really happen last year, which makes me think it's coming in spades now.
The Cliff is what
Yes,
they've called it on the
yes.
spot. Yeah, we'll see. I do not love the Commanders defense, and I love the Texans defense. Ooh, do I love
Hmm.
watching this Texans defense? They finished second on my top 10 defenses pod behind a team that is going to come up pretty soon. So even if I feel like the offensive line isn't totally fixed, that defense will carry them a long ways. All right. We're gonna stay in the NFC and do an NFC head to head here. Commanders versus Packers.
Okay, I am a Jordan Love guy. I think I am a Jordan Love guy, not because I don't root for them. How good he is out of secondary. It's a lot of fun. Like it is interesting to watch him be allowed to be what he is. But when he looks good, because he's so big and he's so strong, and he's on that. There ain't really a whole lot of people who can do this list when he gets to going.
Yeah, yeah.
I would not be surprised if this is like a leap type of year for him, which we thought last year could be. And, it was a little wonky coming through the year, but I felt like by the time we got to the end, we were there for something. I think there will be statistical regression from Jaden Daniels. Not like he's going to get worse, but I don't think their offense is going to be as good as it seemed. And I also think yes, they made it to the NFC Championship game, but they got to have some pretty good luck. America's team was beset by all sides on the American and the Pacific by pestilence and all kinds of other stuff. But if they had caught the Detroit Lions as they were truly intended, then y'all would calm yourselves down and not be talking about stuff like the Super Bowl with this team.
The Hail Marys, the game last minute drives, the 87% fourth down conversion rate. The signs are there. And I don't, like I said, I don't love that defense. I'm glad you're with me on Jordan Love. I call him my and one quarterback because he's just like he's
Yes.
mixtape love. I just love him. I don't know. I just love watching him. It's very divisive, by the way. A lot of people have turned on him. All right, Commander. I'm gonna do another NFC team here. I'm realizing now that there's the big three in the AFC, and then there's kind of a drop off, whereas the NFC has like a one that's way above. And I'm gonna go Commanders versus Rams.
Who?
Interesting, right?
I lean Commanders here, right?
Fair,
But
but hold the pen.
I can just never tell what I'm supposed to be thinking or feeling about Matt Stafford. I never
Yeah.
can. He's Carson Palmer to me. Carson Palmer with a Super Bowl ring, right? I think one of them is a three-time Pro Bowler, one of them is a two-time Pro Bowler. For people who somehow think that this is offensive, like these are kind of your carved from granite quarterbacks. Absolutely looked apart, and when they're at their best, they look incredible, and they're going to give you a chance or two where they're going to try to give you the ball, right? Like it's that opportunity is always going to come. He's older. We saw the thing happen with the Rams as they were trying to figure out what to do with him. And like when we say he's older, it's easy to forget. This is year 17
Yeah,
for him. Like
he's
we
old.
still, yeah, we still holding on to this was 17 with a lot of miles, by the way. Like this would be a year. If you were to guess that the decline like starts really mattering, this would be the year when it would really matter. On the other side is we don't talk about McVay in those genius terms anymore, but he is still pretty damn effective.
So you
Going
going?
Rams. Going
Going
Rams.
Oh, Rams.
Going
How
Rams.
moved are you by the Devonte Adams edition?
You know how you can't tell if somebody's good anymore,
Mm,
but
mm,
I am intrigued. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like I think at the very least it's that. I mean, he's wound up in not great situations for however many years, right? Like maybe he's probably got one more in him.
that's what you get when you can't quit your ex.
You can't quit any of
Nobody's
them.
fault of your but your own, my guy, any of them, right? Okay. Rams. The Rams are, I think, definitely a top 10 team. Got the pass rush, Jared Verse. I saw him with the ESPYs last night. Holy smokes, that dude is impressive looking in person. Okay, so Commanders. I'm gonna bring in the Bengals here.
Oh, the answer is going to be the Commanders.
Okay.
Because me, you, and nine of our friends, we could put up 17 points against what the Bengals are going to be trotting out there this
17.
year.
What are
Like
we running on them?
I didn't want to be hyperbolic, right? Like I didn't want to be like we could put up 50, then that would just take the opinion out of here completely. But I think that we could get 17 on them. I love the fact that Shamar Stewart, if he ever shows up, will probably be named the team captain. I mean, when has a rookie ever showing up and been like, you see what they be doing? Look what they doing to Trey. They just cheap. And I'm sure the whole locker room has to be like, hey, that's a leader right there.
Sorry, I'm still thinking about us and what we'd be running on them. It's like when people put out those tweets are like, do you think you get 1 yard in the NFL? Essentially, with 10 tries. Essentially. Um, yeah, it's not great defensively, but they're gonna win a bunch of games, 45-41, maybe. So, well, anyways, okay. So the Commanders are finally there at 9. The Bengals are still on the board. Here, I shall bring in the team that I had as the number 1 defense in the league, and that's the Denver Broncos.
Ooh.
Yeah, so Broncos versus Bengals, elite offense versus elite defense. Who you got?
I am not a Bo Nix guy. I will not be a Bo Nix guy for a while. And I think that what I have in common with the other not Bo Nix guys is how much college football you watch.
Mm.
And so I saw your guy Solak make this point that if you were not high on Bo Nix going into the draft and there really wasn't that much in the season that should change your mind, it's a lot of passes behind the line of scrimmage, a lot of like use the scheme to make it easy for you. And that catches up to you, right? No
Mm.
matter how good you think Sean Payton is, you can only scheme your way but so far if that's the scheme you got to do to make it work with your quarterback. But that defense is monstrous, monstrous. To be fair to them, though, there's only so much Sean Payton can do, but he has to be the most adaptable of the offensive geniuses, right? Like,
Yes.
I just can't think of anybody that could decide, okay, we're doing something else. Now, he's like Belichick, but offense in that way.
I love that. I was vindicated last year as a Peyton fan because people were so out on him after the Russell Wilson experience, and I was like, "No, no, 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 no! I'm buying all the stock." Y'all don't remember? Like, this is one of the greatest offensive coaches in the history of sport, and I felt like what he did with Bo Nix year one, making the offense competent. Wait, so we're taking the Bengals over the Broncos, or
Oh wow, those are my choices, aren't they?
these are
Da-
your choices? This is
Damn.
we're in
Hey, yeah.
flawed territory. Everybody's got flaw.
Yeah, you know what? I will go with the Bengals just because I mean, while we could get the 17, they would score 150 on us. Like that's the Joe Burrow to Jamar Chase connection is yikes. What are you supposed to do? What is your option?
Higgins, yeah. Okay, Broncos are still on the board, and here I shall bring in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the NFC South champions.
Ooh,
Un-
I'm gonna go with the Broncos because they have that defense. And where are you on Baker? I feel like people are getting carried away. I
I
think that he is a starting quarterback, which is not the same thing as a franchise quarterback.
Yeah, I think that he is a quarterback you can win with, and I think right now they are stacked around him. So I'm high on Baker. I think if you took away some of those pieces, we might have a different conversation. But look at I mean, I don't disagree with you with the Broncos because of defense, but like, look at the situation in Tampa. I mean, that
Yeah.
wide receiver, they're like running 4 or 5 deep down there, offensive line, Bucky Irving. So I know it's a little bit of a cop out, but like, I think he's gonna still be good.
Yeah, I'd agree there, but it is. I just think we have the problem in the league where everybody is he a franchise quarterback? No, he's a starting quarterback, and that's okay, right?
Yeah.
Like that. You can do a lot with a starting quarterback.
Can you beat the Chargers, who I'm going to put up against the Bucks here, who have a
Okay,
franchise quarterback?
I am going to go with the Chargers,
Okay.
and that for me is just I have a Jim Harbaugh faith that maybe is a bit outsized, but like we're going to figure this out one way or another.
Really? You were
Yeah.
down on John, up on Jim.
Oh, I'm big up on Jim. I'm big up on Jim. I'm up on Jim in the way where this Justin Herbert thing don't start looking like people say it's supposed to, then I just got to fully blame him. Like, I think we're just still waiting. We're just still waiting. Like, he's not been bad, right? But we're
Williams
still
just
waiting.
retired, by the way.
I
Sean.
did see that he retired. Like, that's funny. I thought that he retired every time I put him in my fantasy football lineup in the many years that I had him on my team. Like, don't you worry. You leave Mike Williams on your fantasy football bench, he'll go for 150
Like,
yards every single time.
what is the comp for Mike Williams? Like drafting? Is it like going to like a Lauryn Hill concert, and expecting to
Yes.
time? Like
Right
At some
right
point,
after
he's
you
on
leave.
you.
Right after you leave, she's gonna like play 2.5 hours of the best music you've ever heard.
I guess it wasn't her fault. Sorry, I don't want to slander her. This last one. Oh, okay. Bucks versus Vikings.
Ooh. So the question really is a rookie that hasn't played a game make you feel more confident than Sam Bradford? Not
Of
Sam Bradford,
course.
Sam Darnold. Your guy.
Yeah. You know, a rookie walking into getting
Yes.
handed the keys to the Lambo.
Yes, gets to throw to one of the two best wide receivers in the NFL. I don't There was never a time when JJ McCarthy was at Michigan that I thought I was watching a first round pick. So it's hard for me to like super jump into the idea of him. However, I was 100% positive that you could not win with Sam Darnold. And Sam Darnold was like, watch me prove you right. So I their chances of being a winner have improved by having him, just because I just don't think you can win with Sam Darnold. So I am going to the Vikings, who, by the way, I believe went 14-3 last year. Let us not forget. I will lean toward them.
Okay. Wow.
They're second place in the North, by the way, behind America's team.
All right. Bucks versus Niners.
Who I am going Bucks there. Um, it just it just feels like little by little, this thing is just whittling away up there. I mean, they had a window, and I don't feel like they blew their window, right? They came very close to winning Super Bowls. But with what the basic core of what this team is, I just think it's done. Like it's not a Brock Purdy isn't good enough situation or any of this. I just think that thing has gone as far as it can.
Uh, very, very injured last year. Does that sway you at all?
They be always very injured. Like
Yeah.
they gonna be very injured
Well,
this
it's
year
hard when
too.
you play as much football as they have. Going that deep, it takes a toll.
That's
So,
true.
okay, I think that's fair. To wrap up this half, Niners versus Steelers.
Ooh, am I the only person that thinks the Steelers feel a lot like the Dream Team Eagles, I believe, of 2011 when
Oh
they went
god.
and when they went and got all the old guys and brought them in to
Oh
make it
god.
happen? Like it feels very similar. It's just how good do you think Aaron Rodgers is? Because somebody could put together a series of good Aaron Rodgers from last year, and you would think that it was still Aaron Rodgers, right? He's going to have people to throw to. We presume that defense is going to be okay. TJ Watt's old wood chopping. He's going to be out there, money or not. Don't you worry. His sense of decency is just going to be a little too strong for him to do what he needs to do to get that money.
Okay. So, well, to answer your question, because we talked about this at length in the AFC North preview, I think Aaron Rodgers is probably somewhere in the 15 to 25 range for the
Okay.
this year. Is that good enough? Because this is a team that has made it to the playoffs consistently with substandard quarterback play. Do you think it's better than Niners?
Yes, I would say that.
You're taking Steelers. Wow. Okay. Fair enough. All right. Here's the first half. We're going to take a quick break, come back, and get into the dregs eventually. But we're going to get into the second half of this pod. All right, we are back with 16 on our power rankings. Bo did not choose the Niners, so the Niners are on the board, and I am going to put them up against the Dallas Cowboys.
Oh, I'm taking the Cowboys here. We forget a lot of significant injuries, most notably to the quarterback in Dallas last year. Now, granted, the annual quarterback injury seems to be a thing to where we are on like a first name basis with Cooper Rush. We're very familiar with him in a way that we should not be. But if they stay reasonably healthy, they should be good. And look, this is going to be the best version of George Pickens there's ever been.
Yes, I agree.
How good that is, we're going to see. But if he can't keep his eye on the prize this year, then it's hopeless. And I'm going to assume that he's going to do at least enough this year.
I think the Dallas Cowboys offense is going to be good.
I do too.
Okay, the Niners are dropping. Will that stop against the Chicago Bears?
Ooh, I feel like this is a Caleb Williams question, right? And so while I think the Lions can do okay without Ben Johnson, I also think that Ben Johnson will probably be pretty damn helpful for Caleb Williams to have. Because one thing I say about Ben Johnson that I do like is
Bitter X.
he's a bold one, right? And I think that there could be a tendency, like I know this was the strategy the Panthers used with Cam Newton-Young, which I supported, by the way, which is get an offensive coordinator that ain't gonna make it too complex and let your big talented quarterback shine, do it through play action, but simplify it and thereby let the talent go. Well, Caleb Williams isn't physically talented in that way where you can do that. You need somebody that's got some big ideas, I think, to figure out what the best way is to use that guy. And I think they got a guy with some big ideas.
So Bears over Niners.
I'm taking the Bears.
I talked about this in the pod last week, but I really like the Dennis Allen. Nothing I love more than a head coach who was like maybe not a great head coach going back to doing what he's good at. It's like my favorite tropes in football. So.
He's like poor man Wade Phillips. We're like, Wade Phillips is a better head coach than he gets credit for, but he's a defensive coordinator.
Totally. Brian Flores, another good example of that in some ways. Okay. We did the Bears. Niners are still available. Niners versus, let's put the Seahawks here. It's higher than I've had them.
You know, I feel like if this was a broadcast that we got the Niners like walking around the basement, stressed out, taking phone calls, not wanting to talk about it, wishing they could smoke a cigarette, but these cameras are standing around here. But what the Niners don't have is Sam Darnold as their quarterback, who I know you can't win with. Go Niners. Oh, damn, that's right. I wasn't even thinking about that when I said it.
The Vikings won 14 games. No, my case for the Seahawks is really nothing to do with Sam Darnold. I really like defense, and I think the coach is a really good defensive coach. But I think the Niners do make sense here. Okay, Seahawks versus. I'm going to throw up a team real early that I have not had this high yet. That's the New England Patriots.
Ooh.
Would be a big jump, obviously, for them to get to 19 from Dregs.
So what we are saying here is Mike Vrabel, the 2025 version of Mike Vrabel, that much of an improvement over the
They've added
previous head
guys,
coach?
right? They've
They've
added.
had, they've
Yeah.
done that. You're correct, but this is well, I guess it's not. Wow, I had completely forgotten already that Gerard Mayo happened. Because the I was thinking
Patriots.
like a jump over Belichick. I was like, wow, bold statement. This jump over Mayo, apparently, this could probably check out pretty well. I hmm, I think I'm still going to stay. I'll stay with the Seahawks on
Okay.
this one. I am generally leery of the second year quarterback. I admit, like it is a lot for that guy in the
Backfires a
second
lot.
year.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot. So I will go with the Seahawks for now, but I do think the Patriots will be much better than they were. They still have this same problem of the Belichick era, which is, man, I don't know none of them dudes' names. On defense in particular, it'll be like 11 dudes we picked up from the Home Depot, and they'll go out there and they'll be top 10 DVOA.
All right. Patriots versus Cardinals.
Hmm.
Think on it. Think on it for a little bit because the Cardinals are feisty.
They are. Last year, I think it's easiest for us to forget that last year went a lot better
Mhm.
than we expected for it to go. And I think Gannon's, from what I can see, I mean, I'm not going to pretend like I watched them that much, but Gannon seems to have something going there. Like he seems to know what it is that he's
Players
doing.
like him, dude. They actually
Yeah,
really do.
and I am probably a little higher than on Kyler Murray than a lot of people. Like I think starting, he is a starting quarterback who could do franchise quarterback type things, right? So yeah,
Yes, for
I
sure.
will go there. I will go with them.
I find the Seahawks. It's funny because like look at this ranking. They ended up back to back to back. Niners, Seahawks, Cardinals. But that's how
Mhm.
I feel about the NFC West. Like there's the Rams, and then you got three teams here. It's I don't know, kind of could go any way. I feel like
Right.
you know what I mean. It's not like some of these divisions are very clear the order of things. The NFC West is kind of crazy. Okay, Patriots still on the board. So we're out. We got to 20. We're at the
Mhm.
bottom 12 now. Um, let's go Falcons here.
So we have a series of can they put it all together, right, on their offense.
Yeah, where are we
The
with Penix? I haven't talked to you about him in a while.
I don't. So I watched the games with Penix last year, and I guess I'm a little worried that he's as old as he is and played as much quarterback as he has, but he looked to still be that raw as he did. I think they made the right move in going to him.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Cousins is finished. I think we're asking for a lot for him coming off an Achilles in the first place. Um, I see why they did everything they did in order to get him. I don't know when it's going to start bearing fruit, but the truth is, with the drafting that they've done, it shouldn't require that much out of Penix. So Drake London, I haven't given up on Kyle Pitts being an impact player yet, and you know how I feel about Bijan. You shouldn't need that much from your quarterback, I don't think, to get your offense going. That's my thought. But it's coming down to them, and who do we have them against?
Patriots.
Yeah. I am going Patriots here, and that is it is nothing against Raheem, who I like, but I do think I think Vrabel is a value add guy
I
as
think
a
they do.
coach.
Yeah, Patriots. Also like they added a lot of guys on defense. I Stephon Diggs is gonna be a fun experience there.
Yeah. Oh God, let me tell you, you want to talk about reality TV show I want to watch? Stefan and Cardi do
They broke
Boston.
up. They broke up.
I
Devastating.
thought it turned out they was actually still something. They broke up.
Oh, well,
Oh,
you know what? You're probably right. I'm not
I mean,
gonna
tell you, yeah,
defend it.
that appears to be a relationship that one would describe as being fiery.
If I was like playing matchmaker between celebrities, that would have been one that I would have chose.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyways, no further comment. Okay, Patriots there. So the Falcons are still on the board, and I'm gonna throw in a team that I think I'm a little higher on than a lot of people, and that is the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Ooh. They last year seemed to be a team that it was all falling apart, right? Like this was definitely, and look, our good buddy Doug Peterson, maybe he's that guy, right? There's only so long that this is going to go before things start getting to be a bit toxic, I guess, but they should not have been as bad as they were this year. And so I would
Yeah.
assume that they are going to be better, right? Like I would assume that they're going to be able to pick this up. Um, so yeah, I will lean in their direction. But I mean, I have to say this though. The fact that they're trying to have Travis Hunter play both sides of the ball does not give me a lot of faith that they know what they're doing.
I am so perplexed by that. I've been perplexed by that since the draft. And it's not that I'm perplexed against by it at all. I'm perplexed by the way they've gone about it. Like if they had come out and said, okay, he's going to be a corner with few packages to receiver, I'd be like, all right, like there are ways to do it that I think makes sense. But did you see that clip? This is a little bit of digression, sorry, but I'd love to get your thoughts on it. Of Travis Kelce talking about how if he plays both sides of the ball, defenses are just going to run deep
Yes.
on him. Like how? Yeah. What was your reaction to that? Because I was nodding and
They're
thinking,
just going to wear him out.
yeah,
They're just going to wear him out. The other thing for me is what he didn't appear to be at Colorado is durable. Like that shot that he
he's a
took,
smaller dude.
that shot he took his first year at Colorado from that Colorado State got him, and I think he missed a few games. Like, I don't know, yeah, like a broken spleen or something crazy like that. That wasn't a crazy hit.
Yeah.
Like I'm floored that they're actually going to try to do this. I can't. And by the way, gave up draft capital that implies that the only way to make it worth it.
Yeah. I am convinced that this is gonna be like 3 weeks, and then they're gonna be like, all right, let's just like dial this back a little bit. We'll see. I love him as a player. It's part of the again, a big part of my reason for being a little optimistic about the Jags is I think he is that dude.
Yes.
But the deployment is the devil is gonna be in the details on that one. And then obviously they got Brian Thomas Jr., who's like an absolute superstar. So
Hey, ain't they got that Duvo? That's their coach, right?
he's a good coach. He's a good coach. Yeah, it is their coach, unfortunately, that he
Hey,
that
I
was.
tell you, he's a good coach. You
However,
need to watch his back when he goes back to Temple.
I wish they were playing. I don't think they are because that would be amazing.
Yes.
Yeah, the way that all went down. Okay. Falcons versus the Miami Dolphins.
I'm going the Dolphins. Like I don't like
your face when I said that.
Yeah, but like I really think about it, and it's like I feel like we're a little too down on them.
That's what I want to hear. Yeah. Okay.
Like I think the things that are good about them are still pretty good. But people are just all the way down on them.
Yeah.
Now, like, does Minka Fitzpatrick still have something left? That's going to be an interesting question. Like the idea that was basically a 1-for-1 trade, it does not really happen in this sport. That was a kind of wild thing to watch. But I don't like. I feel like we're down here. Like we when you pour a bowl of cereal and it's not all flakes. You know what I mean? Like we're getting the leavings of the league, and I don't feel like they down there with the leavings.
The leavings. I love the when you're down to the crumbs. I will pour that into my mouth straight from the bag. But if we're talking, but I guess the equivalent here is like the Giants, the Browns, do the same.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I'm thinking about who's left. And I'm like, damn.
You're right about the Dolphins and sentiment. I think there's a thing. I think we've seen this. Jordan Love is actually like a victim of this, where when something is so hyped and then it disappoints, people turn harder than they should because of that whiplash. And I think the Miami Dolphins, because we've just seen that what has happened in January or the end of the year play out now. I just think people can't get excited about it anymore. They still have good players, though. They still have good players, so I think that's completely fair. Okay, the Falcons are dropping.
They are. They are the Falcons.
Let's go Falcons versus Raiders here.
Oh, I'm taking the Raiders, and it's because I am certain they have a quarterback. You know, you and I, we hold it down over here for Geno. I mean, look, and Pete Carroll. Here's one thing I know about this: you're not going to be bad.
Yeah.
Your team may not be great, right? They may not be as good as they should in some ways, but your team is not going to be bad with Pete as the coach.
Yeah, I think this offense is going to be sneaky good. Honestly, it's just the defense that we're. I mean, but we're in the territory now. We're at 24.
Yeah.
Yes. I feel about Geno. No need to revisit that. All right, the Falcons continue to drop. I'm not going to bring in their divisional rival here just yet. There's 2 left. One definitely not bringing in. Let's go Falcons Colts here.
I would love for this to be the Colts, because for this to be the Colts, it would mean that my guy, Anthony Richardson, has gotten this thing together. They are skeptical of him, not as a talent, but as a professional. Can you fix all that in 1 year, basically? Because I did think that after he came back, when they sent him to his room and put him on punishment and acted like they did not put him on punishment last year, I thought he was pretty good when he came back in off of that. Did enough happen to make him lock in and decide, that he could be that guy? Because he is Cam Newton, Josh Allen, physical talent level. And in fact, maybe just like in pure measurables, probably superior to them, but we haven't seen that guy. So I can't pick the Colts yet. I wish I could though.
All right. Falcons.
Oh no. We go into Colts now. I'm taking the Falcons over the Colts.
Yeah, you're taking the Falcons. So the Falcons are at 25.
Yes.
So the Colts are still on the board.
Yes.
Yeah, I think with the Falcons too, like whether or not they can rise above this and actually be competitive in admittedly a very easy division. Any of those 2 pass rushers they picked up work out,
Right.
That's kind of going to be what it comes down to. Can they finally get someone who can rush the passer for the first time since Abraham, really? So, yeah, I don't know.
It really has been that long.
It's
You
been a
had to
long
break
time.
out John. Like when you break out somebody named Abraham, and it feels like it's been since like the Abraham era, when they was just commonplace. It's a tough go.
We'll see. They certainly tried in the draft. Okay, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 slots left. Colts. I'm gonna put the Jets here. Maybe it's a little early.
Okay, I'm going to go with the Colts here, and it is only because I think I am not a fields guy, right? Like I don't know if slow processors stop being slow processors. Maybe not even a slow processor, but a slow get the ball outer. How about that, right? That's I don't see that change very much. I am very curious how this goes for the Jets. It's not like they don't have players. They've got guys, but I would not have done what they did at quarterback. That was a stopgap sort of move for a team that I think would have been better off going super young or super old.
It's a referendum on the draft, right? Just
Yes.
not want to do it. Okay, so we're putting the Colts here. I think the Colts defense could be a little better this year too, by the way, with Sweet Lou and Arumo. They've added some pieces. But yeah, the quarterback is the question. The Jets, I'm going to put up against a team who I want to hear your thoughts on him as a quarterback. Carolina Panthers.
Oh, here we go. Because I have to say, Bryce Young in the second half of the season got himself in the Jared Goff. I didn't know you could be so bad and turned out to be this decent program. It looks okay. It looks possible. They don't look that good, like in sum total, but he looks like he could be a starting NFL quarterback. I think
you're a believer.
I think he can be.
Yeah.
It is possible. I am no longer a flat out doubter.
Yeah.
Which I was.
How everybody felt, it's
Well, to be fair, I was an early adopter on it. I recall you being a little blown away when the best I can say about him is the little homie's doing the best he can.
I think about that every time we talk about him on TV. Every time we're trying to have like a serious football conversation about Bryce Young, who I really like as a person and a player. Yeah. I think about you appear as like the devil on my shoulder, saying "little homie doing the best he can." I try not to like say it; it's just in my head.
I'm just saying, you were the worst
he's
thing.
Doing more than the best he can now. Little homie is doing all right.
He is, but you're the worst thing that ever happened to his draft.
I don't want to talk about it.
You're the one that stood next to him, and we were like, I don't know, number one pick of the draft. Can't tell. Maybe we should take her with the number one pick in the draft.
I know. I was gonna say I haven't taken any pictures next to rookie quarterbacks since then. All right, so we're going Jets then or Panthers?
I am going Jets because I think everything else about the Panthers is startling.
I mean, the Panthers defense is still not great.
Yeah.
Jets defense could turn things around too. I feel like that's not talked about enough. Like they're still really talented on
Yes, they got
defense.
players. They've got players. It's just, I mean, is Justin Fields better than Aaron Rodgers was last year? And if you were to ask me last year, I probably would have said no.
I like Aaron Glenn too, and I think I just can't imagine a defense playing as bad as they did under Aaron Glenn.
That is true.
Okay, Panthers versus, let's put in a rookie quarterback here, the Tennessee Titans.
I can't get a great handle on what I think of Cam Ward as an actual NFL quarterback because he seems that he was just better than those other guys, right? Like, I don't feel like if you were bad enough to get the number one pick, he's not the guy that's changing your fortunes. You change some things around him, okay, cool. But no, we may go all the way to the end. No, the Titans are not going to be dead last for me, but they're going to be pretty close.
So Panthers.
I would take the Panthers.
Yeah, I mean, I would also take the Panthers here. For me, it's actually less about Cam Ward and more about the pieces around Cam Ward, right? Like I'm looking at the skill players and Brian Callahan. Don't know how we feel about him necessarily. Defense has a lot of holes, so I think Bryce showed us enough last year to feel good about the direction that they're going in with him. All right, we are in the gruesome foursome at the bottom here. The remaining teams, I don't think any of these teams have risen above this part. They are the crumbs of the cereal that we are about to pour into our mouths. Titans, I want to mix things up because I keep ending with the same two teams. But it's so hard for me to make a case for them.
I mean, I know one of them, but I'll let it play out.
Let's go. I can't mix up the order. Let's go Titans Giants here.
We're going Titans for no other reason than they are not the Giants. And I will just say this again for the people at home. Either take a quarterback in the teens or take them in the 30s in the second round. But the quarterback in the 20s is a bust.
Does the Giants having Dexter Lawrence, Brian Burns, Abdul Carter, and Kayvon Thibodeau on the defensive line move you at all?
It does move me. And if they could ever force a third down, I think they'll have a chance to like really make something happen. But no, that does move me. Like the idea, if there's any franchise that knows the value of the you can't have too many pass rushers adage, it is them. I just think their offense, Malik Neighbors going to be so mad, man. Just furious.
Yeah,
and so will Brian Daboll. He will also be angry and furious. I can't imagine how insufferable he's going to be by like week 3.
He still has a job. He should be.
All
right.
Some gratitude.
Dude, have you looked at the Giants' schedule, by the way?
I have not. Is that bad?
Hold on. I want to read this to you just to see your reaction. Okay, this is from week 1 on, the Russell Wilson led, because he'll be starting quarterback for
that's
them.
right.
And this is what makes it so hard because we know that they're going to pull the trigger at some point on Dart. Teams always do. From week 1, here we go. Commanders, Cowboys, Chiefs, Chargers, Saints, Eagles, Broncos, Eagles, Niners.
So 1 and a possible? Or like, yikes.
We have not brought up the Saints.
Yo, I have been living here. This will be my 9th football season. And I ain't seen a good football team yet. Like, I've seen one make the playoffs, but I ain't seen a good one yet.
That's brutal. All right. Well, the Giants are still on the board. And I'm going to put them up against the Cleveland Browns.
Ew. I mean, if the Browns didn't have whatever that quarterback room is, how much different would our conversation about them be?
2 good defenses.
Yeah.
Going head to head.
Yeah, like that's kind of where I'm at. But so what is Joe Flacco, Dylan Gabriel, Shedeur Sanders, and Kenny Pickett?
That's right.
I'll take Russell Wilson over those guys, I think, right now. So damn. Yeah, go with the Giants. Oh, I forgot Deshaun Watson. He does still play for them. He's just a little hurt.
Nobody really brings him up. Of the Browns QB room, if you had to bet right now, who do you think ends up starting the most games for them? This is impossible. First of all, don't hold him to this. I get asked this all the time, and I always cop out. I'm like, I don't know. It's an impossible question.
Okay, so I think it will go in this order. Joe Flacco to Kenny Pickett to Dylan Gabriel, then Shador Sanders. I think it will go in that order. And I guess, I mean, there's a real argument that Shador gets to start the most games because they'll have to burn through the other guys so fast and they may get hurt out there. I can't, like, what people have to understand is that year that Joe Flacco played for the Browns and you thought he played good, he did not actually. It just worked out okay. Because unlike most backup quarterbacks, he's already rich. So he just goes out there and has fun and makes big plays. And so you're like, oh man, you see the big plays, but he was cheeks then. They tried to give him the job in Indianapolis last year. He was cheeks there. But they love him. So he's going to get to go at first.
Yeah, I think he'll go first because they want to run a certain kind of offense. They know he can do it, unless one of these two guys dazzles in the preseason. Which,
Kenny Pickett drafted in the 20s.
yeah, that's true. Although, well, let's have an offline conversation about Kenny Pickett. Okay, Browns Saints. By the way, I think it's out now. No, that's next week. I have a interview with Tyler Shook.
Oh, okay.
Who I love. So I'm a little biased now. I'm rooting for this dude who I also want to have an offline conversation with you about. The Saints have finished at the bottom every time I've done this thus far.
So I understand the skepticism around Shuck, but I also understand why somebody would buy in, right? Like from watching the clips of them, I see why somebody would do that, but they just seem to be kind of all around bad. Like I don't like all the years of kicking the cap down the road. Like we're here. We've been here for a little while, but we're kind of really here right now. But I don't feel like they're worst team in the NFL bad.
Are the Browns?
Because of the quarterbacks, yeah. Like I have more optimism about Shuck than I have for any
Same.
of those names
So
that we just listed.
I'm glad we're having this because everyone keeps doing the Saints. The Browns have a better defense, but the Saints, I think, have the best quarterback of the group.
Yeah.
And a good coach too. I think Kellen Moore's a good coach.
Yeah, I see no cause for optimism truly on any of the quarterbacks that the Browns have. Like Gabriel, I mean, I guess. I don't think Sanders is physically talented enough. Joe Flacco might as well have gone to high school with me. And Kenny Pickett, no, it ain't happening.
So we can go Saints.
I'm going to go Saints.
All right. Have you ever seen the Saints Block Party pod guys on socials?
I have not.
They keep posting every time I have the Saints in the bottom, and they have a hashtag for this season, hashtag Arch My Back.
No, that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to get Arch to come home.
Tanking for Arch.
We don't even know if Arch is any good.
I know.
Any good, but if you.
Well, here's what we do know: the Saints are bad. So.
Yeah. Oh no, the paper bags are going to be out this year, and they're going to hear from me about it too.
All right. Yes. The final ranking. I'm going to read this aloud, and then I want you to tell me who you think went too low. If there's one team you're like, maybe they should be their fans might be justifiably mad. Eagles, Ravens, Chiefs, Lions, Bills, Texans, Packers, Rams, Commanders, Bengals, Broncos, Chargers, Vikings, Bucks, Steelers. That's your top 15. Cowboys, Bears, Niners, Seahawks, Cardinals, Patriots, Jaguars, Dolphins, Raiders, Falcons, Colts, Jets, Panthers, Titans, Giants, Saints, Browns.
All right. I do think that Commandos fans got a reason to be perhaps a little bit salty coming off their best season in 30-something years, right? I get why they might be salty. And to the Bengals fans, you are welcome. After this all shook out, I am amazed that you guys are this high on the list. I don't necessarily have anybody below you that I necessarily think is better, but I really think you guys are going to give up 75 points a game this year.
Yeah, I think the Commanders fans are going to be the angriest looking at this. I think you're right. And maybe Falcons fans. I think they seem optimistic right now.
Yeah, but see, you have to understand that if you decide to root for the Falcons, then you have to be optimistic. You have no other choice. Like otherwise, why are you still here? Why would you keep doing this? The man of the year got busted soliciting a prostitute before one Super Bowl, and then the next time you went, blew a 28-3 lead in a game that you thought you were going to win. That had to be heartbreaking and terrible for where you were standing. And so if you keep coming out here and going to kick the football, you see Lucy right there. It's the same Lucy it's always been. But here you go, rearing back. You know what I'm saying? Like someday it'll be better, right?
My favorite fans in football, the Atlanta Falcons fans.
Yeah.
I just love the resilience. That's all I'll say.
I will say this: you need to get yourself to the Georgia Dome for a. There is no NFL environment quite like a Falcons home game at this point. It is very Atlanta. You need to see this.
That's Bomani Jones, the host of The Right Time with Bomani Jones. You guys listen to this, you probably know him, but you also know Dominique Foxworth, who appears on his show regularly. Football season's coming up, so hopefully he invites me over to his side as well sometime to podcast together. This has been extremely fun. We got the AFC East coming out this week, so tap in for that. And then, of course, this interview I just teased with Tyler Shook. And I'll see you guys then. Thank you so much, Bomani.
Hey, thank you.